What's up, guys? It's your boy, the essential John L. Crossfire, aka the real main event, aka the Rogue Soldier, and today you're about to learn firsthand just what it's like to be caught in the crossfire. But above all else, prepare yourself, because in this very moment, today, right now, you are about to be caught in conversation. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 25 of Caught in Conversation. As always, I am the essential John L. Crossfire. With me today, as promised a few weeks back, it's my amazing wife. It's Mrs Crossfire. How are you today, my darling love?
I'm good, thanks.
We've had some crazy strong winds here lately, so I hope you guys, wherever you're listening, are staying safe, are doing well. But today, you and I will be doing a realistic fantasy card, specifically looking at Survivor Series 2021, using the current rosters, although some of them were just released. And then afterwards, we're going to be doing predictions of the actual 2021 Survivor Series card. To explain the rules, so to speak, to the listeners, basically we're going to have one pre-show match and then 7 main card / main show matches each. Sticking to the usual Raw versus SmackDown theme, we've made the rule that we can include NXT if we want. Not every match had to be brand versus brand if you didn't want to, and we still had to have at least one, but preferably 2 traditional Survivor Series elimination tag team matches. Of course, they're usually 5 versus 5 in like the modern era, but they have been known to be 4 versus 4 at times, if you like. And then there's basically a little backstory, no matter how big or small, wherever applicals. For example, with the Survivor Series matches, we just basically say who was eliminated at what point and yada, yada, yada. That's pretty self-explanatory, but if there's any actual feuds with your title matches or brand versus brand matches, we'll explain that. We've also made the rule that because we're including NXT, we can call up people to NXT to either Raw or SmackDown, as well as have a little bit of a trade from Raw to SmackDown, etc. And we can change who the champions are. We're kind of just using the current, and I say that with a wink and a nod because, again, some people have just been eliminated today or released today. Instead of eliminating thing in Survivor Series. But we're using kind of the current roster just as like a guide. So to be marks and just have some fun. Get the creative juices flowing. And then when all is said and done, we're going to get the listeners to vote. Now, this is completely healthy competition. It's just going to be who has the best opener, who has the best main event, and who has the best overall card. Again, no one wins anything. It's just healthy competition, and that's going to be the basic format for hopefully all of these Mark-A-Palooza episodes. I want to do more of them, hence why I've dubbed it the Mark-A-Palooza series, but see where we go. Today, obviously, Mrs. Crossfire is my co-host. That may change. That was a lot of rambling, but does that sound good to you?
Yeah.
You nervous?
Yeah, not really. Not too much. I don't know how my match is going to match up against yours, but here we are.
Now, we know bits and pieces of each other's card, but for the most part, we're pretty much coming into this pretty much cold, so
yeah.
Be interesting to see what each other's does, but being that you are the co-host / guest-ish, when we do get to that portion, I will let you go first, so you will have the first pre-show match, and then we'll kind of alternate, and then it'll end with me doing the final main event. Sound good?
Mm-hmm. Yep, sounds good to me.
I do hope to do another one with Hellfire at some point as well. Hoping to do an AEW one, putting this on the podcast so that way the listeners can harp on him, because I know that, for example, we got like Jeff and Dolan and stuff like that. Sean, they can message him and pester him and badger him until he finally finds the time to be able to do it. I jest, but yeah, I'm hoping to do an AEW one with Hellfire. I did have an idea that I ran by you as well, Mrs. Crossfire, for a Royal Rumble one, but that will require 3 people, so maybe we can bring Hellfire in on that, or maybe even your brother, if we can find a way to have 3 people. Maybe he'll just have to be via Bluetooth in the next room, as awkward as that is. Maybe I can bring in Jeff again, maybe I can bring in Nick Maltino, but we'll see when we get there. But yeah, as I said, I want to keep these going. I want to make a series, but I've ranted. Let's just keep moving. But before we get into this, you got your notes ready?
Yes. Ready
I'm
to
going
go.
to make you wait a little bit longer then. Because as I said, this is a different format to usual. with the Mark-A-Palooza episodes, I was just kind of throw the song of the week and the match of the week out there, and then just go straight into the cards. But as I mentioned in the intro, I'm kind of rushing. I'm all over the place because lots of stuff has happened today, and it's kind of thrown the entire podcast just in a fluster because we had it all set. We're going to do this. We're going to stick to just this because we've had a habit of we talk a lot. Our episodes run long, so we wanted to just do the card, get in, get out. And then right on cue, WWE does another fucking round of releases. But basically, they've thrown out the old budget cuts reason again, brother. Now, I understand business. We talked about more releases on the last episode you're on. They just did some. And I get it. They've got thousands of employees and, someone has to go. But some of these names, it just boggles my fucking mind. I'm going to quickly go into our group chat where I posted the actual article with all the names. Hopefully there's been none added since we looked at it, but I'm honestly not going to be surprised if there is. But we won't try and harp on them for too long because we want to try and, as I said, get to the main card. It's a special Mark-A-Palooza episode. But I'll quickly go into our group chat. So on this list, we have John Morrison, which...
yeah, it's kind of annoying.
Pissed me the fuck off, but correct me if I'm wrong. We said literally in the episode you're on 2 weeks ago that he would be the next to go.
Yeah, because I don't know. I just thought, Frankie's gone, and I'm like, he wouldn't be happy with that. He was so excited for her when she first signed and everything, and really supportive, husband and everything. And I was like, I just didn't see him sticking around. How could you support a company that's like that? And allegedly, it's all rumored, it was about her age, and I think that's wrong. You should never, be, I guess, ageist. That's just wrong.
And it's oh, well, women don't have the bodies that men do and yada, yada, yada. And, for the most part, biologically, that is true. But at the same time, when it comes to people that, that type of athlete, that they put the training in, they put the effort in to make them, make them the athlete that they are, you can't determine that for them. That's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
So, I'm not surprised, but from both a Mark standpoint, because let's face it, my top 3 wrestlers of all time, Eddie Guerrero, Macho Man, John Morrison. So he's literally my favorite wrestler ever that's still alive.
Yeah.
And then from a business standpoint, it's you built him up. You made him, okay? Yeah, you can say Miz built the feud by the promos with Bad Bunny at WrestleMania. But who was the one in that match that actually, in terms of bell to bell, was the one that made Bad Bunny look like $1 million fucking bucks? It was John Morrison. And yeah, you could argue that maybe any other wrestler could be in that position, but the fact of the matter is they weren't. It was John Morrison. And then you have the Miz turn heel, which is oh, cool, we're going to have a feud. And then it's oh, lol, jokes, Miz is going to go film Dancing with the Stars. That's fine, we'll wait till he comes back. Nope, he's gone. I just... Tegan Knox was another one we said we wouldn't be surprised because she got drafted.
Yeah.
Where the fuck was she? Why call her up if you're not going to use her?
Yeah.
You and I, we haven't watched really any promotions, current stuff, but we haven't watched any WWE in weeks. And I think you and I have both on the same agreement here. Yeah, we'll probably tune in to Survivor Series. Chances are it's probably going to be background noise. But we're probably just going to watch the pay-per-views once a month now because the way they're going, it's just, you can't get invested.
Yeah. I keep getting attached to different wrestlers and it's what's the point? Literally, you had Tegan and she was pretty much got called up and it was pretty much just for a coffee break. I swear she only had 2 or 3, maybe 3 max matches.
And see, I want to say that, she should have just stayed in NXT, but who's to say they wouldn't have just fucking released her from there anyway?
Yeah, it's the same old thing.
The next one, Shane Thorne, again, not surprising because he hasn't been seen for a while since being Slapjack, but again, such a fucking talented dude. Budget cuts this, budget cuts that. You put stock in a dude like that,
Exactly.
It seems far too obvious.
Well, and I thought too with him as well, you probably could have took him back down to NXT and he could have reignited with what's his name again? I can't think of his name. It's slipping my mind. The like Jack Black dealer at the moment.
Duke Hudson.
Yes, Duke.
Of course, former members of TMDK, the Mighty Don't Kneel, in Australia and around the world as well. But
yeah, he could have done some Jack Black stuff, like a dealer or something for him.
Because, Mikey Nichols or Nick Miller, when he was in WWE, they were TMDK as well, and they came in and they became TM61. You've still got the history there with Duke, so why not kind of, as you said, just put them together?
Yeah, and even if it was just for segments for a little bit until you could find something for him. He's a good wrestler. Like, you can find work for him. And
some people may say that, hey, this is beneath him, but you've got, like, the whole Duke's, poker room.
Yeah.
Shane Thorne could have basically done what, like, Johnny Bravo was doing for Johnny Swinger over in Impact. Like, he's kind of the dealer or the doorman or whatever the fuck else. I don't know poker, but fuck, maybe he's just, the butler and he's getting drinks or whatever. Like,
at least he was doing
I feel like he could have made that work, but...
Then at least he was doing something. Like, they just had him off TV. Like, it was just a joke.
The saving grace here, and whether or not it happens remains to be seen, but both Jonah and Damian Slater have teased on social media that the three of them are going to reunite their own little version of TMDK. And if that happens, I might just lose my fucking mind. And of course, we've got Mikey Nichols here in Australia. He's killing it in Perth. Maybe he'll go back to Japan and join them. Who knows? But it just shakes my head. The next one, Jackson Riker, all I'm going to say is, look, I don't know the guy personally, but from the, the opinions and stuff he's expressed on social media, whether it's a work or not, it's 2021. We're in that kind of, generation where that shit don't fly. And it's not a matter of, people are too sensitive. It's just, know your fucking limits. You're a fuckwit. You're basically a modern day Nazi. Thank you, fuck you, bye. The fact that he stayed in there so long shocks me. Like, and people will say, people make mistakes. They shouldn't lose their jobs. But I'm sorry, like, freedom of speech doesn't equal freedom of consequence. He should have been out of that company fucking last year when he was being a fuckwit on social media.
I mean, well, his, like, tag team partners.
He literally got Steve Macklin and Wesley Blake fired. And that's that's a literal fact.
They were nothing to do
Guilty
with
by association, right? But I get it, and a lot of I get heated when people are like, "Fuck Vince, he's evil," blah blah blah. But you got to think, given the look that he has, he's big, he's muscly. That's right up Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard's alley, and Johnny Ace, John Laurinaitis, of course, current talent and relations. Like, that's right up their alley. So it's like, we'll give him a pass because he's got the look. Like, no.
Yeah.
Again, like, people are probably going to get, there's probably going to be someone that, shits on me for that opinion. But of all of these releases, this is the only one that I'm like, good, because they should have done it a long time ago. That's my opinion. I'm entitled to it. The next one, on a humane level, is pretty fucking depressing, though. Drake Maverick.
Yeah.
He was in the original releases in 2020, like at the start of the pandemic, when they really went ham and just fucking threw everyone out the door, and they were firing people, they were furloughing people. And Drake managed, just by the power of social media, so for people to say that WWE doesn't listen to the fans, shut the fuck up. Because by the power of social media, Drake was able to get re-signed. And he had a pretty good run, but then, they called up his partner. I can't even remember who he was teaming with now. Oh, no, sorry. They released his partner, Killian Dane. Sorry, as I said, this is completely off the fly. I'm just trying to read through the list. But yeah, it was him and Killian Dane. They released Killian Dane, left him dead in the water. They teamed him with Grayson. They called up Drake. That's where I was getting the call up from. They called up Drake to Raw. They put him in the 24/7 title picture again. Now Grayson's in NXT dead in the fucking water. And then now Drake's going out the door again. I mean, I don't know, like, yeah, like, at least he did have, like, a little bit of success for a while when he did first get re-signed, but I don't know, like, this is probably not very good content because I don't know what to say, but it's just fucking depressing.
It just kind of hit us,
It's just
really.
depressing.
Yeah.
Like, this is a dude that lost his job, basically made a plea, regained his job, hung in there for a while. It's been, what, about a year and a half almost.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, yeah, nah, sorry, budget cuts, you're out the door again. It just doesn't do it for me. But John Cena, actually, of all people on Twitter, put over Drake Maverick for, like, his work ethic and how good he is as a performer. So that's going to go a long way for any promotions, because let's face it, at the end of the day, although he's not around that much, John Cena in this generation is still very much the guy. So surely, and maybe this is just being optimistic, but surely other promotions have to see, John Cena basically giving Drake Maverick his blessing and saying, oh shit, maybe we should maybe we should sign that guy.
Yeah.
And then Isaiah Scott, Top Dollar, Ashanti the Adonis, all three members of Hit Row, and to be honest, I'm pretty sure you're in the same boat. This one pissed me off more than anything else here.
Yeah.
You give them a push in NXT. You call them up. You release their manager. You give them a push on SmackDown. You release all fucking three of them.
Yeah, what's the point?
And again, just like Morrison, maybe I'm being biased because I'm such a big fucking mark for Swerve. But look at Top Dollar. He's got everything that they want. He's a big dude. He can move. And then he's got guys like Swerve and Ashanti to kind of, carry him along, teach him the ropes sort of thing. But they're three guys that as a unit could be money. And then, yeah, sure, it's not going to be a New Day or a Shield type situation. But I still feel that once you build Hit Row as an entity, they still could have had, semi-successful careers as single stars after the fact.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just me being naive, but I see the talent in all three of them.
Exactly, yeah.
But yeah, like, again, that was kind of... Did you have anything to add to that?
No, it's just annoying because it's just, yeah.
But again, that was kind of, it was a little bit all over the place, a little bit jumbled, because it was just, it's fresh in our minds. I didn't have notes.
I just didn't even know what to say.
Yeah, I didn't have notes.
Oh, wow.
I just felt that I couldn't, obviously, it happened the morning of that we were meant to be recording. I'm recording, we're recording this on Friday. It's going out in 2 days' time on Sunday, which is the day before Survivor Series. And literally the morning of recording this, it's like, this person's been released, this person's been released. And it's just like, fuck, I've got to kind of, mention it considering who they are, like John Morrison, all-time favorite. But Hit Row it fucking pissed me off because it's like, you got rid of BFAB and it's like, look, that sucks for her, but she is a talented woman. I'm sure she's going to be fine. And then it's just like, oh no, fuck it, we'll get rid of the three of them.
Yeah, it just made no point.
Well, they made a big deal about them being drafted up from NXT. Like, they made it a part of the draft and everything, and I just...
What's really griping me at the moment is just WWE in general. They're just calling this talent up, not giving them a chance and saying, see you later. And then the poor buggers, instead of waiting 30 days, they have to turn around and wait for 90. That's just not fair. And I know they're paying them, but still it's like, oh, we're going to take good talent, put them up, and oh, we're just going to get rid of them because we've got too much and don't know creatively what the hell to write or do with them. And instead of making them wait 30 days to go elsewhere,
it's like they could be working just in time for Christmas, but instead, they got to wait until, what is it, December, January, February now?
Yeah.
Why?
It's just not fair.
But both you and I have tried so hard for so long to not defend WWE, but we've still, we've kept up, we've watched the product, we understand that it's business, but it's just happening left and right at the moment. And when they're recording record earnings, how the fuck can you say it's budget cuts? And I get it, it's not actually budget cuts. We've discussed this before. That's just the excuse they throw out. It's like a breakup. It's not you, it's me. But it's just so fucking stupid when it's the people that you're doing it to.
What annoys me is some of the talent that's still around that sucks and should be gone. And that's just probably a personal opinion. Maybe people think that some of the talent's great, but some of them I just feel suck in comparison, and they're still there.
Well, you and I had this conversation behind closed doors. This is where this conversation is going to finally start to pick up. We had this conversation behind doors of, should they hire models and football players and yada, yada, yada. Yeah. I think, leave the opportunity open to everyone. But when you've got all these football players that are 6'5" and they're 280 and they're coming in and they're trying to chain... or trying to train, and they're the drizzling shits no matter how much effort you put in. And then you've got guys on the indies busting their ass for 10, 15, some of them 20 fucking years. Obviously, you know, Top Dollar and Ashanti weren't that long, but Swerve's been around for, I think, about 10 years now, maybe a little bit more. And it's just like, why? They have dedicated, like, their life, basically, to a craft.
It's
like,
their
it's
goal, it's their dream. They're going to be motivated. They're going to work hard. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Like, you know, a guy like Johnny, right? John Morrison, Johnny Mundo, Johnny Impact, Johnny whatever the fuck he's going to be called now, depending on where he goes. He's got, like, the movies and stuff that he's written and directed himself. He's got other projects. He's not a star, but well, he is a star, but he's not a superstar. Like, he's not a John Cena, he's not a Rock, not a Batista, but he's still solidified enough to where he could make it, he could earn a living. Whereas, Swerve and them, I'm sure, a guy like Swerve specifically, and along with Top Dollar and Ashanti, they're going to go to the indies, when their 90 days are up, and they are going to kill it, but they had all this fucking momentum, and as you say, instead of waiting 30, it's sit at home until your name cools down. Like,
yeah,
it's
not
fucking
fair. It's just not fair.
Yeah,
but the only thing I'm looking forward to is like a Swerve versus like a Chris Bay moment. That's all I'm waiting for.
Dude, like, I had this conversation. I was talking to Malachi about this earlier. Shout out to Malachi. I believe it's the first time I've shouted him on the podcast. And I said, New Japan or Impact fantasy booking is where I'd put them just because I want to see Swerve there. But I'm like, what about Ring of Honor? Like, if they weren't seemingly closing down, a place like that for all three of those guys would be such a fucking perfect fit. It's like it's just come at the most inconvenient time. Not that there is a convenient time, to lose your job, but it's just like, ugh. Like, why?
Yeah.
But look, we're about 20 minutes in now, so we still haven't waffled on for as long as I thought we're going to on those releases, so that's good. But I'll lighten the mood. I'll go into the Song of the Week. Now, I've thrown a bit of comedy in for this week's Song of the Week, but in all honesty, it's an all-time banger, and if you say you don't like this song, you're a fucking liar. The song of this week, because it's about Survivor Series, is I Will Survive
Of course.
by Gloria Gaynor. Hey, hey, I will survive. I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor. Again, if you don't like that song, you're a fucking liar. The match of the week this week, with it being the 25th anniversary of The Rock, I probably should have chose something involving him, but alas, I went with the event that he debuted at in Survivor Series 1996, and from that event for the match of the week, I have chosen Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bret the Hitman Hart. This match very much jump-started what would eventually become the Stone Cold Steve Austin that we know and love today. And obviously, it was a fantastic precursor to the WrestleMania 13 match they had a few months later, which had the infamous double turn where Bret Hart turned heel because Stone Cold refused to tap out. Stone Cold passes out in a pool of his own blood. But this match in itself is one that I myself, along with the WrestleMania match, I've kind of, I've studied God knows how many times back to back, because the psychology in this match is just, mwah, it's chef's kiss. That's one that I'm definitely going to have to show you, because I know how much you like, the psychological side of pro wrestling. It's some really good stuff. Bret Hart was just coming back from, I can't remember what injury it was. I think it was a knee injury. I could be wrong. And I'm pretty sure Stone Cold was just coming back from some sort of injury as well. And basically Bret Hart handpicked Steve Austin both behind the scenes and in kayfabe to be his, first major opponent. And really good stuff. But yeah, that match is Steve Austin versus Bret Hart at Survivor Series 1996. And now we'll take a second. I'm going to take a drink. We'll try and recompose ourselves, and then we'll get in to our Fantasy Survivor Series 2021 cards, aka the first episode in the Mark-A-Palooza series. I just wanted to press that button. Just saying. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mrs Crossfire and I, we've taken a drink. Are you ready, babe, to do this Mark-A-Palooza?
I'm ready.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, put your hands together. For the Mark-A-Palooza, we're going to start with the pre-show, and for the most part, as I said, we don't actually know each other's cards. We know a few elements here and there because we've kind of roughly bounced ideas off of each other. But for Mrs Crossfire, your pre-show match for Survivor Series 2021 is...
Okay, so it's a little bit out there. People are probably going to judge me and go, that's stupid, but here we are. So it is a battle royal. It's a 15-man battle royal, but it's kind of like a mini Royal Rumble, I guess you'd say, for the 24/7 title. Sounds very silly, I know, but...
Who doesn't love a good Rumble, though? Let's be honest.
But...
Maybe it's the Survivor Rumble.
Yeah, so what it is, but it's like a Survivor mini Royal Rumble, I guess you'd say. So each team, so we have SmackDown, Raw, and NXT. I've included an NXT in this one. Each team has five men from each brand. So we've got... So the lineup is as follows. From SmackDown, we have Drew Gulak, Jinder Mahal, Shanky, Mansoor, and Ridge Holland. Okay, so that's Team SmackDown. And for Raw, we have Akira Tozawa, Jackson Riker, because I needed someone to fill a spot. Because I didn't know who else to fill the spot, looking at the rosters. Very minimal rosters, not many people around, I guess.
Yeah, fuck, could you imagine if we tried to do this, like, today with the new rosters?
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Oh, fuck.
But yeah, and then R-Truth, Reggie, of course, who is the 24/7 title champion at the moment.
The current title holder. Reginald.
And we also have Veer. So I'll just repeat that one. So Akira Tozawa, Jackson Riker, R-Truth, Reggie, and Veer for Raw. And then for NXT, we have Brooks Jensen, Josh Briggs. So they're from, I call them Rip-Off Beer Money. I can't think of their actual name.
I don't believe they have an actual team name. I think they're just called Briggs and Jensen.
Yeah.
I call them Brooks and Dunn.
Yeah. And I call them Rip-Off
Brooks
Beer
and
Money.
Dunn Beer Money. Like, they're two hillbillies that love to fight. And honestly,
They love beer too.
that's one, like, obviously, as I said, we haven't watched anything current at the moment, but they're winning me over from what I'm seeing online.
But yeah,
continue.
Back to the NXT roster, so I'll just repeat that one. Brooks Jensen, Josh Briggs, then it's Denny Burch, Joe Gacy, and Timothy Thatcher.
So if this Timmy, I miss him. I haven't seen him for a while.
Yeah.
But
he used to annoy me because he was on every week, and it was like, I get they're building him up, but I was kind of like, oh, I'm getting annoyed.
But just before you get into this matchup, is it still every man for themselves with them guys just representing their brands, or?
So it kind of is and it's kind of not. Like, they're kind of just trying to help each other eliminate people from other teams, but they are still in it for themselves.
Okay,
they want to win.
So it's technically every man for themselves, but it's...
Yeah, they really want to win the title, but I see it as, at the moment, the title is just really mainly on Raw, but... You know, you sometimes have a bit of SmackDown, Raw, and sometimes they float around. But NXT, you don't see any...
So if one of the other brands wins, that's where the title goes to, sort of thing.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I'm doing it, because it's like, then that way it can kind of get shared across.
Because as I said, like, we don't know each other's cards, so I just wasn't sure, like, does that mean that, like, there's going to be multiple, like, co-holders of the title belt, or, like... Or what? So I just wanted to clear that up. So,
that's kind of more,
it is still every man for themselves, but they're fighting for brand supremacy at the same time.
Yeah, because...
So it leaves a lot of room for fuckery.
Yeah, so there's a lot of fuckery going on here.
So I'm going to lean back and I'm going to let you just tell us what your pre-show match is.
So the order the entrants are. So I'm going to go off let you know who comes out first and everything. Like who comes out first from... Number 1 down to 15.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so number 1 is Drew Gulak. Number 2 is Akira Tozawa. Number 3 is Danny Burch. Number 4 is Jinder. Number 5 is Veer. Number 6 is Timothy Thatcher. Number 7 is Ridge Holland. Number 8 is Jackson Riker. Number 9 is Josh Briggs. Number 10 is Shanky. Number 11 is R-Truth. Number 12 is Brooks Jensen. Number 13 is Mansour. Number 14 is Reggie. Number 15 is Joe Gacy. So what they've done here is they've had a bit of a barrel run, like the old days where you have like the
miss
barrel.
those days, man.
Yeah, and they've picked out a number previously. That's how they got that order. So I just wanted to run it through that way. So it's kind of like a mini rumble, because later through the card you'll find out why I picked this kind of match, because it kind of pays homage to a new, it's not a championship, but like a trophy that is going to be presented in the very end at the main event. So it kind of like, you'll get to see a bit more into that.
Interesting indeed.
Yeah. So then now I'll go into who's the first eliminated. So the first eliminated is Akira Tozawa, who came out at number 2, but he was the first eliminated. And he was eliminated by Drew Gulak. And then the second eliminated is obviously Drew Gulak, but by Jinder, with a sneaky assist from Tozawa. So Tozawa kind of helped him eliminate him, because he was like, screw you, you eliminated me, I will help get you out there.
The good old fuckery.
Yeah. And then it's got, okay, then third to be eliminated is Danny Burch by Ridge Holland, because they've got a little bit of tension there.
A little bit of history there. Ridge Holland thinks he's better than Danny Burch now because he got the call up.
Yeah, he got the call up where Danny didn't, so that's why I've done it that way.
My brand's better than yours. Fuck you.
And then fourth to be eliminated is Jackson Riker by Jinder. And then fifth to be eliminated is Shanky by Veer.
Ooh.
So there's a little bit of fuckery there, because they used to be ex-tag team
Still don't understand
partners.
why Veer was drafted by himself, but continue.
But yeah, so I've done a little bit of fuckery there, because they're like, brand supremacy here, we're going to stuff you up. So it's like, oh, okay. Like, even though, we were on good terms when they switched over and got drafted, but here we are.
At the end of the day, it's about the most prestigious championship in all of wrestling, the 24/7 title. Continue, baby.
And then Veer gets eliminated by, who do you think?
Jinder.
So this has got a little bit of fuckery here.
Love it.
And then seventh to be eliminated is Ridge Holland by Timothy Thatcher, because again, they had a bit of feuding in NXT when Ridge was with Danny Burch and now released Only Lorcan.
Yeah, fuck, he was in the last episode we talked about as well. 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It was way longer than 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what's happened there. And then Jinder was number 8 he was eliminated by Mansour.
Mm-hmm.
So Mansour eliminated Jinder. 9th, Timothy Thatcher was eliminated by Jensen Briggs. Jensen and Briggs.
Yeah, there's Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs.
Yeah. So Jensen and Briggs. They tagged up. Yeah. Sorry, I just had to clarify the way I've written it. I was like, hang on, how did I mean that?
Jensen Briggs? Yeah. Who the fuck's that?
Yeah, I was like, wait, what?
So Brooks and Jensen.
Yeah,
Brooks and Dunn.
Just need to, I don't know. Beer money. Just need to learn to, read my own handwriting. Maybe I should be a doctor or something. I don't know.
And I'm still like, what does this say?
Yeah, I've handwritten everything, and it's in pen, guys, so it's kind of permanent.
No card subject to change here.
Yeah.
Once it's there, you can erase it.
I'm just like...
But yeah, would you say Timothy Thatcher was eliminated by Briggs and Jensen?
Yeah, okay. They teamed up to eliminate him. And then 10th to be eliminated was Mansour by R-Truth. So Truth's just come in and just like, hey, I'm here, guys. Chung.
Truth's probably spent the entire match hiding as well.
Yeah. He's just hiding under the ring. Just sneaks out. That seems like a very Tozawa thing, but here we are. Okay, and then 11th to be eliminated is Briggs by Reggie. Reggie's come out of the woodworks now too, and he's eliminated Briggs. 12 to be eliminated was R-Truth by Reggie. Reggie's getting a couple of eliminations in here.
The champ making a statement.
The champ's like, no, I want to keep my damn championship, y'all. Okay. And then Brooks Jensen is eliminated by Reggie as well. So Reggie's got
he's got a trifecta now. Jesus.
He's just smashing
Reggie's
through
just killing everyone. He's the new Brock Lesnar.
He's just smashing through.
Is that how this ends? Reggie, this Brock Lesnar's everyone?
Oh, no. Here comes some fuckery. Okay. So, Briggs reappears with a freshly eliminated Jensen. So, he's just, been hanging around a bit to get revenge on Reggie, causing Joe Gacy to win. The backstory behind this is Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen are members of Joe Gacy's cult and will do all the dirty work for him. Joe Gacy, takes out the 24/7 title to NXT 2.0, so the title will now be defended on all brands, not just Raw and SmackDown. And see, I've kind of planned it like that. Like, it seems like, I feel like Joe Gacy really should have the NXT title. He's a very talented dude. And people are probably like, why are you putting him in the 24/7 title picture? But I want to build him up.
He's one reason that, like, I kind of, like, want to keep watching NXT 2.0, but at the same time, like, I'm just getting attached to him. Like, but the whole thing he was doing with Parker Boudreaux or Haaland with, like, the new, like, bald look, kind of looking like a new age Snitsky, who was like a psycho, but, Gacy's obviously able to tame him. I dig the fuck out of that. And I think Brooks, I almost said Brooks and Dunn again, Briggs and Jensen would actually be a great, like, addition to that, because they're, like, almost like a modern day APA as well, like Bradshaw and Farouk. Like, they're just country boys that want to fight.
That's so kind of what I was going
But rather than everyone pay them off, he's just kind of, he's got something over them or whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of like, that's where I'm trying to go with that. And I'm like, how cool would that be? I was just like, that would be a really cool storyline.
You had a 15-man, I almost said battle royal, but a 15-man rumble, a Survivor Series style rumble for the 24/7 title. 5 men from each brand. Joe Gacy has taken the 24/7 title to NXT.
Yeah, pretty much. So that's my pre-show. It sounds a bit silly.
Honestly, though,
people are probably like, what?
Honestly, though, I would watch it because it's a pre-show match. So it's like, you got to kind of get in the mood, like you're getting your snacks ready or whatever, and it's like that's just playing in the background, and it's like, all right. All the fuckery. You have the comedy with truth and stuff like that.
Yeah, like it's fuckery, but it's lightheaded, kind of like lighthearted kind of like comedy in there, and then it kind of just sets you up because it's kind of like a Survivor style match, so it's getting you ready for my main event, which my main event is the men's Survivors match, so we'll get to that later.
But my pre-show match was short and sweet and to the point. So you better get your notes for match number 1 for the main card ready, because I'm going to fly through this.
They're already.
So my pre-show match, and people, again, just like you said, they're probably going to get mad at me because it's stupid or whatever. They're going to get mad that I'd put this match of all matches on the pre-show, but hey, someone has to be on the pre-show, right?
Yeah.
And this is for the Raw Tag Team Championships. I have the challengers, the Street Profits, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, versus the reigning champions. They, of course, RK Bro, Randy Orton, and Matt Riddle. The story here, it's pretty simple. The Street Profits have won a tag team battle royal on Raw the week prior to earn the right to challenge for the tag team titles here. The match itself goes for about 8 to 10 minutes. It's fairly fast paced, and the finish comes when, unbeknownst to the Street Profits, Randy Orton gets a blind tag on Riddle, and just as they take out Riddle, Montez Ford is about to hit a big frog splash where he does an entire 180 in midair, but Randy Orton catches him in midair with the RKO out of nowhere, by God! And Randy Orton gets the pin. Therefore, Randy Orton and Matt Riddle, RK Bro, retain the Raw Tag Team Championships. They shake hands after the match. Pretty simple little pre-show match, but I feel like it'd work.
Mine's pretty fuckery. It's like all the fuckery just to start off with.
I'm just like, have guys do flips and tricks, and then Randy Orton catches a guy in the midair of the RKO.
Mine's probably going to be super complicated. I've tried to not be in detail too much because I don't want you sitting here forever.
No, but that's what I said. Like, this is why
here we are.
With the Mark-A-Palooza episodes, I want to kind of just bang, 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 because especially with the Royal Rumble one, if we get to do it, which I'm hoping we do, because it's going to be, the Rumble one's going to be a different format just because it's, the Rumble match. And I'm looking, like I said, I'm hoping we can do that, and we'll just go straight into that because that'll take a while. The AEW one that I will be doing with Hellfire, I'm not sure when it will be. Sometime in the next couple of months, hopefully before the Rumble. It's actually going to be 2 pre-show matches and 8 main cards because AEW has 4-hour pay-per-views by default as it is. So that's going to be probably super detailed. But yeah, that was a big rant, but just trying to explain to both you and the listeners any confusion. But on the main show, match 1 for Mrs Crossfire.
Okay, so my match 1, also I've written it down as an opener, I guess you'd say.
Match 1 is always the opener.
Yeah.
Different to the pre-show.
Yeah.
Because it's the main card, the main show.
Yeah, okay. So for this one, so this match is a 3-way dance match, aka an elimination triple threat match for the NXT Championship. So it's for the women's NXT, like
the NXT Women's Championship.
Yeah, that's how I should clarify it a bit better. And so WWE held a poll on Twitter and Instagram during the week to see which women's title should be on the line. NXT just won by 2% overall. SmackDown just survived by only 1% difference to Raw. Okay, so from SmackDown, we have the Queen, Charlotte Flair, the SmackDown Women's Champion, versus Raw's Big Time Becky Lynch, the Raw Women's Champion, versus NXT's own Toxic Attraction, Mandy Rose, the NXT Women's Champion.
I dig it.
So this is a 30-minute match. It's got a 30-minute time limit. So, at just 5 minutes in, the newly seasoned champ Mandy Rose tries to go for the quick pin using a backslide on Becky Lynch that is caught by Charlotte just into a 2 count. So, and then we go on, and this one is 10 minutes in. Charlotte tries to put Mandy into a figure 8, but has no success as she just as she's about to bridge, she's interrupted by Becky. And then 5 minutes later, fate is met for Charlotte in the way of a manhandle slam by Big Time Bex being eliminated from the match. So Charlotte's been eliminated at the...
Charlotte Flair the first eliminated here.
Yeah, and this is at the 20-minute mark.
So we got 10 minutes left of Mandy and Becky.
Yeah. So, which, you think, the new season champ wouldn't have got so far, but here she is. She's managed to, get past Charlotte, which is pretty interesting.
I mean, it's her championship that's on the line, so
yeah. So she's got her stakes on the line, so she's really into it. She's got a lot of motivation there. So, 5 minutes later, I'm rereading what I wrote before. I need to keep my lines. Here we go. In the last 2 minutes of the match, Mandy is met with a drop kick to the jaw by Becky. With Mandy in pain, cradled on the in the center of the ring, the world season champ Becky Lynch takes the opportunity to lock up her disarm her submission on Mandy to take home the NXT gold. So now, not only is Becky the Raw Women's Champion, she's also the NXT Women's Champion. So again, she's Becky 2 belts. But this is a fun little fact. Becky has never actually been the NXT Champion, but now she's got that gold as well. So
a nice little tidbit there. It's kind of like full circle sort of thing.
Yeah.
I dig it.
So that was my first match opener kind of vibe.
A 3-way dance, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, and Mandy Rose. Kind of still fitting for like the Survivor Series theme as well, because it's elimination.
Yeah, and it's brand versus brand versus brand. And I just wanted to bring NXT in because I wanted them to still be included.
The thing is, though, like,
extent.
with, like, Mandy Rose, like, she's still not the greatest wrestler, but she has actually improved so much in the last year or so that, like, I would probably still watch that triple threat match.
Yeah.
Provided that, in real life, Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch can cooperate.
Yeah. See, I kind of wrote this before all that kind of went to shit.
It'll be interesting to see when Survivor Series does roll around. Obviously, it'll be tomorrow after this episode originally drops. Just, how professional or sloppy that match ends up being.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But match one for me, I'm kicking it off with a traditional 5 versus 5 Survivor Series elimination match. Raw versus SmackDown. It's a men's Survivor Series match. For Team Raw, I have the Hurt Business, Cedric Alexander, and Shelton Benjamin. The Mysterios, Ray and Dominic, and rounding out Team Raw, we have Kevin Owens. Team SmackDown is the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, the New Day, Kofi Kingston, and King Xavier Woods. And the final member of Team SmackDown, a man that Kevin Owens knows very well, is Sami Zayn. So just to recap, that's the Hurt Business, the Mysterios, and Kevin Owens versus the Usos, the New Day, and Sami Zayn. Now, obviously, given the history between the New Day and the Usos, there's a lot of tension between both teams throughout the contest, struggling to get along, but the same can be said on the opposite side for the Mysterios and the Hurt Business, who in this fantasy world are about to start a feud off the back of the happenings of this match. This match goes for about 12 to 15 minutes again, short and sweet to an extent, super hot opener, and it actually comes down to 1 versus 1 after the Usos and the New Day have kind of caused themselves to be eliminated, and again, the same can be said for the Mysterios and the Hurt Business. The final two are Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. We get a lot of transitions here and basically counters as they keep trying to attempt what would basically be the greatest hits, so to speak, from their previous feuds. So they're kind of all the callbacks, but none of it's landing because they're scouting each other. But eventually, Kevin Owens hits his trademark pop-up powerbomb, but just before he can capitalize, the Usos, who had been previously eliminated, make their way out. One of them was actually pinned by Kevin Owens. So they make their way back to ringside. They climb up onto the apron. Owens gives them each a respective super kick for their trouble, but this allows Sami Zayn to hit a haluva kick, but that's not enough. Sami actually pins Kevin Owens after hitting Kevin Owens with a stunner of his own. Of course, Kevin Owens has used that move to great success in the recent years, and all the commentators let out a simultaneous groans. Even the SmackDown commentators, because as happy as they are that they've won, they know that they're never going to hear the end of it from one Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn, the sole survivor for Team SmackDown, albeit due to interference from the Usos, but that's my opener.
Nice.
Match number 2 for Mrs. Crossfire.
Okay, so match number 2 for me is for the Women's Tag Team Championships. Now, this is a triple threat that consists of Rhea and Nikki Cross, so they're the current tag team champions.
They're defending their championships.
Yeah, so they're defending their championships. They're on Raw versus Alexa Bliss and Doudrop. They've teamed up together from Raw as well.
I dig that.
Yeah, versus Shotzi and Toni Storm from SmackDown.
Interesting.
So, I'll just go into how they came into this match. So, what I've done is, one team from Raw. So we've got one team from Raw, and then they competed against another tag team from Raw to get this spot.
The number 1 contendership, yeah.
Yeah. So they did like a number 1 contendership. That's what you'd say. For the spot. And then as they did from SmackDown as well, because with the Women's Tag Team Championships, as everyone knows, like most people listening to this will know that anyway, there's only one tag team, like one women's like tag team championships. Like,
and they're going to be defended across both Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
Used to be NXT and they forgot about NXT, so NXT made their own, but...
Yeah. So that's why I've got a team from each. And it probably looks a bit crazy because, like, there's another team from Raw, but... They got the number 1.
I feel like that makes sense.
Spot.
Like the women's champions, women's tag team champions, they're defending their title, And then you've got a team from Raw and SmackDown because it's Survivor Series.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I went with that. So, yeah, getting into it, the tag team from Raw, which is Doudrop and Alexa Bliss, which I've just said before, I've actually gave them a name for their team. So it probably sounds super cringy, but it's called the Dreadful Beauties. And I call them that because Alexa Bliss is kind of a bit dark, brooding, dreadful seeming like. And then at the moment, Doudrop's playing this character that seems very like bright and airy and bubbly and like beautiful, I guess. So that's where I went with Dreadful Beauties for those guys.
I dig it. I mean, they're facing Super Brutality, which, although I love the name personally, it is still pretty fucking cheesy.
Yeah, but I love Super Brutality. I think it's great.
And I'm assuming you gave Tony and... who'd you say?
Shotzi.
Tony Storm and Shotzi. I'm assuming you gave them a name too.
Yeah, so this sounds pretty cheesy as well, but it's called the War Rockers because you've got Shotzi that's like, she's got a tank. She's like...
Welcome to the ball pit.
Yeah, she's kind of like... She's rockering as well. She's like really rockery.
I may or may not have that same pairing later on in my card.
That's hilarious. I didn't even know that. Great minds think alike, right?
But continue. Triple threat tag match, Super Brutality defending against Alexa and Doudrop, and then Shotzi and Tony.
Yeah. So pretty much it's pretty straightforward with this match. So it's pretty much just filler, I might as well say. Sorry, a bit tongue-tied here. The match ends with Toni Storm being pinned by Alexa Bliss, with Alexa using the ropes that goes unnoticed by the ref, which now causes a feud between the Dreadful Beauties versus the War Rockers, but leaves open space for Rhea and Nikki, as neither of the team Super Brutality were pinned.
So kind of like a heel turn for Alexa.
Yeah, it's a heel turn for Alexa, so she's heel now.
So does that mean by default Doudrop's going to be a heel with her as well? Or?
Yeah.
I think she actually just did turn heel on Raw.
She did kind of
reading,
and that's kind of
spoilers.
Yeah, and that's kind of
she attacked Bianca.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I got the inspiration from. Was hey, actually, we'll make her heel, and we'll also make Alexa heel, and they can turn together, I should say, kind of in a way, because I guess Doudrop was a little bit grey, but now she's fully turned as well with Alexa. But yeah, so that's making the Dreadful Beauties, so Alexa Bliss and Doudrop, the new women's tag team champions.
So 2 matches in, we've got technically two title changes.
Yeah. So far we've had 2 title
I got confused there for a second because I was like, wait, did Becky win? I'm like, yeah, no, it was the NXT title that was on the line that she won. So yeah. So 2 matches in, technically 3 title changes if you want to count your pre-show match as well.
Yeah, that's right. What's our title? Everyone's losing tonight.
We're having a rebrand, pal. Budget cuts.
I will call it WWE 2.0.
Fucking might as well at this point. But match 2 for me, it's pretty straightforward. It's actually a match that will be happening on tomorrow, of course, when this drops, on tomorrow's Survivor Series card. And that is United States Champion Damian Priest versus Intercontinental Champion Shinsuke Nakamura with Rick Boogs. You just gotta say his name like that. Another Raw versus SmackDown match. This is a pretty respect-driven match. They go about 10 to 12, but near the end, Boogs' guitar playing makes Damian Priest snap a little bit, as we've seen him do in the last few weeks. He's kind of got like a, split personality thing going on. So Priest would take out Boogs on the outside, which fires up Nakamura, but Priest essentially lets Nakamura punch himself out, and right as Nakamura attempts his Kinshasa knee strike, Priest snatches Nakamura straight up out of the air, hits a big South of Heaven chokeslam, but gets a very close near fall. But Priest would hit the Reckoning neckbreaker for the 1-2-3, making Raw and SmackDown 1-1 on the draft, or on the scoreboard rather, not the draft board, on the scoreboard. Again, short to the point. Match number 3 for Mrs Crossfire.
Okay, so match number 3 is a singles match, but it's a qualifier match for the Raw captain spot of the men's Survivor match.
Ooh, okay.
Okay. So we've got Edge versus The Rock. And the reason this match is
Jesus
happening...
fucking Christ.
The reason that
I said The Rock was on the table because it's his 25th anniversary, but she's just like, fucking Edge versus The Rock.
Yeah, okay.
Why not? I dig it.
Yeah, it's Mark-A-Palooza. Hello.
Yep.
Do you know the name?
We got Edge versus The Rock.
Yeah, so this is a little side note. So this is just why, like, the backstory of why I've made this match. So this match is happening as a fight broke out between The Rock and Edge, as The Rock is a free agent, not a draftee of Raw. This match is called by Sonya to solve this issue. So Sonya Deville, I've made her the GM of Raw.
Okay, yep.
For my fantasy booking.
And Adam Pearce for SmackDown, I'm assuming.
Yes, yeah, and Adam Pearce for SmackDown. So, the thing is with this match, though, we have stipulations.
Okay, stipulations.
So, the stipulations are that only one spear and one rock bottom are allowed, therefore must be used wisely. So, it's not just, each person can only use one finisher. It's like only one spear and one rock bottom can be used in this match. So if someone wants to be a bit cheeky like Edge that likes to copy people's moves and stuff, if he goes and does that, The Rock has to find some other way to defeat Edge.
So is it one spear and rock bottom or one spear or rock bottom?
So
like if a spear's used, can The Rock still use his rock bottom, or is that...
It's only one spear and one rock bottom
Okay, so
allowed.
one of each.
Yeah.
Just clarifying that.
Yeah, so that's the stipulation, because Sonya wanted to be a bit tricky.
We've gone all Vince Russo on this one, haven't you? Trust me, wait till you get to my main event. It's super fucking Vince Russo.
I can't help it, alright? Just marking out. Okay. Yep, so as I previously said, this is a singles qualifying match for the top spot as Raw's captain for the men's survivors match against SmackDown in tonight's main event. The Rock versus Edge. This match was sanctioned earlier in the night by Raw's GM Sonya Deville, so I'm just going back into it so you guys are just fresh and all over it.
Just hit it in one big shot.
Yeah. As their divided Raw team, as The Rock is not drafted to Raw and his loyalties are uncertain, where Edge is drafted to Raw. This match isn't a standard singles match ending with a pinfall or submission, but has the stipulation that only one spear and one rock bottom is allowed during this match. This match goes for 15 minutes. It's a bit of back and forth to start off with, and then it goes to the 10-minute mark, and Edge hits a spear, which is only allowed once during this match. Just reiterating,
yep.
Yeah, reiterating here. There's more back and forth, and then in the heat of the moment, instinctively, Edge hits another spear, which is against the stipulations, resulting in a win for The Rock as the Raw captain.
Is that like automatic like disqualification or?
Yeah, he's disqualified now. I should clarify
You're
that.
the winner of the match by disqualification. The Rock.
Yeah.
Boo.
So there we've got that. That is my third match.
You a little bit of Vince Russo, as I said.
But I think it was good.
I dig that though, like the
nice.
tension of where does The Rock's loyalties rise? Because obviously SmackDown was literally named like after his catchphrase, so it's like a little
bit of fuckery here.
A little bit of fuckery there. I got it. Match number 3 for me, and I've got a little bit of fuckery here because I've got an NXT Championship Open Challenge. Now, as of recording this, Tommaso Ciampa is the actual NXT champion in, real life. But in Fantasyland, we're going to say that he lost the championship just the week before on NXT, before the Survivor Series pay-per-view, and we have LA Knight, as the defending champion with an open challenge to anyone from Raw or SmackDown. However, in a little bit of a pre-match slip-up, his words kind of get the best of him, and he puts his foot in it by stating that he can beat anyone from Raw and SmackDown, thus making it a triple threat match. Now, Had to do a little bit of card subject to change stuff here because Keith Lee was originally meant to be my Raw superstar for this match. I mean, I guess, for all intents and purposes, being a fantasy card, he was still technically on, the roster when I first started writing, so I could have let it slide, but as I said, I've already done a little bit of fuckery by making LA Knight champ instead of Tommaso Ciampa, so I figured that's enough fuckery. Challenging from SmackDown will be Happy Corbin with Madcap, but from Raw, replacing Keith Lee, I have T-Bar, but with a twist. Because, of course, known in Ring of Honor and the Indies as Donovan Dijak, and in NXT with his original one as Dominic Dijakovic, in this entrance, he would be rebranded as simply one name, in all capitals, Dijak. Just Dijak. Which, let's face it, would be a pretty badass name if they let it for real. Until, at least WWE fuck him over and release him, just like they did Keith Lee and everyone else they've released in the last few weeks. But, let's face it, if that happened, you could just put Donovan at the start. But yeah, I have T-Bar rebranding as Dijak, Happy Corbin, and they're both challenging LA Knight in a triple threat match. I think I stumbled over my words a little bit there, but oh well.
I did too, so you're all good.
And this match, because I'm an expert booker, wink wink, it still ends the exact same way that it was going to, even if Keith Lee had been in it. So, at about 10 to 12 minutes, Dijak hits his discus big boot, cyclone boot, call it what you want, on LA Knight. Originally, I was going to have Keith Lee hitting the Spirit Bomb on LA Knight, but just as the referee is about to count to 3, Madcap Moss, who obviously is there to help Happy Corbin, pulls the referee out of the ring to save the match for his boy Happy Corbin. Dijak, not liking this, goes after Moss. As this is happening, though, Corbin hits Deep Six on LA Knight for a near fall, but then Dijak hits his finishing move, Feast Your Eyes, on Madcap Moss on the outside. And again, originally it was meant to be Keith Lee hitting the ground zero, or the Big Bang Catastrophe, as it was called in WWE. And while Corbin's about to hit the end of days on a dazed LA Knight off the Deep Six, he's kind of distracted by what's happening on the outside. His boy Madcap's getting the shit kicked out of him, basically, by Dijak. That calls for distraction. And LA Knight takes advantage, rolls up Happy Corbin, uses a handful of tights, maybe even uses the ropes for leverage if he's close enough, but he steals the victory and retains the NXT Championship.
Interesting.
So match number 4 in this Mark-A-Palooza Survivor Series card for Mrs Crossfire is...
Okay, so match number 4 is my women's Survivor match, and it's 4 versus 4 rather than 5 versus 5. So, this is a women's Survivor Series elimination match. The winner wins a one-on-one match against Zelina Vega to compete for the crown as queen if Zelina doesn't win.
If Zelina doesn't win. So
Yeah.
Zelina's in this match also.
She's also in this match. I'll go into that in just a second. I'll just finish off this. So I just wanted to say what they win, and then I'll go into who's actually in this match.
Okay.
Yep. So, they also win an entry spot at number 30 for the Royal Rumble pay-per-view.
So whoever gets like the final 4, the final elimination.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So whoever's the sole survivor, if we have a sole survivor. Because I know sometimes, there's a bit of fuckery and there's a bit of a draw
So if
and
there's
whatnot.
so in theory, if there was multiple people left on a team, the person that got the final pin or submission would get number 30.
Would number 30, yeah. And then I'd probably go and do a qualifying match or something afterwards.
With the other people in the match.
Yeah, for the crown if, Zelina wasn't one of them in it, if that made sense. Yeah. Okay.
So lots of stuff at stake here.
Yeah.
So Zelina's got to also, and for her right, she's got to protect her crown, and she's trying to get number 30 at the same time.
Yeah, and she's trying to get her team to win. So she's also trying to get Raw to win because... Okay, so I'll go into the teams now. So it's just Raw versus SmackDown. I haven't got NXT in this one. But yes, Queen Zelina is the captain as well. Yep. So she's trying her best to fight for Raw as well.
She's trying to lead her loyal subjects.
Yeah, so she's got a bit of fuckery going on where, she's got the motivation to try and keep her crown at the same time as trying to keep Raw afloat and make sure they win, and then she really wants this number 30 spot so she can not only be queen but a champion as well. So there's a lot going on here.
It's a lot to unpack, but I do.
Okay, so on Team Raw, we've got Queen Zelina as the captain. I'm just repeating that one. Carmella is also on Team Raw. Tamina and someone that's just been released, Tegan Knox. So, yeah.
I remember you saying earlier that you had people that had been released, but I couldn't remember who. So we had Riker in the pre-show, and now we've got...
So let's see where this leads, shall we?
Okay, so you got Zelina, Carmella, Tegan Knox, and who'd you say?
Tamina.
And Tamina.
Yeah. And then on Team SmackDown, we've got the captain, Naomi.
Yep.
And then we've got Natalya, Sasha Banks, and Bayley.
Oh, Bayley's returning.
Bayley's returning. She's making a big return at Survivor Series.
Yeah, so for those not aware, I didn't explain in the rules earlier. Basically, I gave Mrs Crossfire sheets with Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, and then I put the current free agents being Cena, Lesnar, Bayley, Asuka, and The Rock. Oh, and there was Elias too. I was trying to think there was another one. But yeah, Elias was the fifth one, and then I added The Rock, being that it was The Rock's 25th anniversary at the Survivor Series. But yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, getting into it, the high point of the match is only 5 minutes in when Sonya Deville comes out and distracts Naomi because they've been having a bit of a feud going on.
So that's why you made Sonya the head of Raw. So she could fuck Naomi over.
Yeah, she's going to fuck Naomi over.
Got it.
So, Sonya Deville comes out and distracts Naomi. So, while she's distracted, she's all disheveled, and Naomi exits the ring because she's all distracted and she's all disheveled and she's angry because Sonya's there.
So she's like launching at Sonya, basically.
Yeah, she pretty much I'll just say she kind of like suicide dives towards like Sonya. Sonya kind of sidesteps and she kind of just falls on her face. There's a bit of a face bump on the outside.
A little bit of Ninja Mac from Wrestling Revolver the other day. And so I'm assuming she gets counted out or something?
Yeah, so then forgetting this is an elimination match, she's the first to be eliminated because she's disqualified, technically, because she's too busy fucking around outside.
So she gets counted out.
She gets counted out. Yeah. And then this sets up a future feud for Naomi and Sonya. And then, due to the count out.
Or Sonya. Sonya Deville.
Sonya.
Sorry, we don't have American accents. It's Sonya.
Sonya, mate.
Sonya.
We're Aussies.
Alright, but Naomi's eliminated. She's been counted out after going after Sonya Deville.
Yeah. So then we skip forward to 12 minutes in, and we've got Natalya from Team SmackDown. She's been eliminated by Tamina. Tamina was also eliminated not long later by Sasha Banks, leaving only Sasha and Bayley on Team SmackDown. And then left on Team Raw is just Captain Zelina Vega, Carmella, and Tegan Knox.
It's a little 3-on-2 situation here.
Yeah.
Raw kicking ass.
Yeah. And then we're skipping forward to 15 minutes in. There's a bit of a commotion that arises between Carmella and Zelina because, they were all pally, but Carmella actually said on Twitter, and she's also mentioned on the previous segment the week before, that she wants to come for the crown.
Oh.
So
and they're meant to be friends. So.
They were meant to be friends. She's backstabbing her. And there's a bit of,
Oh my God, bitch, I want the crown.
Yeah, there's a bit going on.
Why does that actually sound like Carmella, though?
But yeah, because she's the most beautiful woman in WWE.
Self-proclaimed.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just had to do my Michael Cole impersonation there.
The most beautiful woman in WWE. Just doing a bit of impersonation there. Probably a bit shit, but here we are.
Self-proclaimed.
And that's why she feels that she should be the queen. So what happens here as...
what happens here as...
Yeah.
There's your Carmella impression.
What happens here as...
Sorry, baby.
But yeah, and then so, yeah, there's a bit of a commotion between those two. Because also, what happens here... So it's not only that bit of a background story. As Zelina misses hitting Bailey, because this is the commotion here... Zelina misses hitting Bailey and almost hits Carmella in the nose. Not the nose. No. She's not wearing her mask either.
Oh, she's not wearing her protective gear.
No. So, don't touch the nose, girlfriend.
Girl, bye.
Girl, bye. Okay. So, the couple were already at odds because of, what Carmella blurted out on Raw, as well as
she wants the crown.
And then she just admitted it on Twitter as well. That she wants the crown. So then, what happens is, Zelina starts talking smack to Carmella. Sorry, I'm sounding really weird here. And then she's completely distracted as Bailey tags in Sasha. That puts Zelina into a backslide, eliminating Zelina, and then at the 18-minute mark, only Sasha and Carmella are left.
Okay, so Carmella had a little bit of a comeback then. She's eliminated Bailey.
Yeah, she's eliminated Bailey. I should have mentioned that, actually.
That's fine.
Limited space on this page, and I'm trying to read it.
I'm sure most people that listen to this can count, I hope.
Yeah.
1, 2,
and then,
comes after 2.
Carmella slips out of the ring. Carmella slips out of the bank statement. Sorry, I was reading another bit of the page.
Okay. So we're down to Carmella and Sasha Banks. Carmella slips out of the bank statement.
Yeah, into the code of silence. I think it's the code of silence sometimes.
I don't know if it's code or cone. On Supercard it says code, but I swear on commentary, Michael Kohler said cone, which makes sense because her legs are around their neck.
Yeah.
So it's like a cone of shame.
That's what
So maybe that's where we're getting confused, but code of silence we're going to go with.
Could even be the accent or something too.
Could be too, but we're going to go with the code of silence, which is like her figure 4 neck lock that she does with her legs around the people's neck.
And then she takes the win via submission. Yeah, so that's that much. So,
so
now Carmella
So now Carmella gets the challenge Zelina Vega for the crown, and she also has the 30 spot to the Rumble. Perhaps Zelina will make Carmella put the 30 spot on the line in exchange for the shot of the crown.
Possibly.
Winner take all.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows what could happen out of this? That's why I'm like, this has multiple
Anything can happen in Mark-A-Palooza. My 4th match is also the Survivor Series women's match. I've got 5 versus 5. I have Raw versus SmackDown. This is a women's... Oh, I just said that. It's a women's Survivor Series match.
I've done that
and
so
the
many
captains
times.
from Raw and SmackDown, respectively, are the champions. So from Raw, Becky Lynch. From SmackDown, Charlotte Flair. And they have handpicked all of their tag team partners. On Team Raw, again, we have Becky, Bianca Belair, who was actually the last one chosen due to Big Time Bex's ever-growing ego, Alexa Bliss, who has returned from her holiday here in Fantasyland. I'm glad to see that she also returned to Mrs Crossfire's card as well.
Yeah, I should have mentioned that.
Queen Zelina Vega, and Doudrop. So that's Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Queen Zelina, and Doudrop versus Team SmackDown of Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, who Charlotte had practically begged to be on the team despite their issues, Shayna Baszler, Natalya, and Aaliyah, who is basically trying to prove herself to Charlotte so that Charlotte will mentor her. So, the week before Survivor Series, the SmackDown women invade Raw. Charlotte specifically would injure Doudrop in kayfabe, setting up Doudrop winning the Rumble a few months later, and then she's actually able to jump ship to SmackDown and defeat Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's Championship at WrestleMania. Just a little sidebar there in Fantasyland of the Mark-A-Palooza. So going into the show, it was believed that SmackDown had a 5 versus 4 numbers advantage. Earlier in the night, however, Becky Lynch cut a promo saying that no, it will indeed be 5 versus 5 and that she was here. Who would she be? That would be revealed during the actual entrances for the match, and it would be revealed to be a returning Asuka. Charlotte Flair and Asuka would start the match, and after Charlotte had slapped Asuka, Asuka hit a big spinning back fist. Bianca Belair would tag herself in and then pin Charlotte after hitting the KOD. So Charlotte Flair, the team captain of SmackDown, is eliminated here. The very first person eliminated, and in just 26 seconds, no less. Bianca Belair would trash talk her own partner in Becky Lynch after the fact, to which, Lynch would simply just tap Bianca on the shoulder, tagging herself in. Of course, a bit of tension there between Becky and Bianca because Becky beat Bianca in just 26 seconds in Becky's return match at SummerSlam in real life. So a little bit of fuckery there.
Yeah, I like it.
Eventually, at about the 10 to 12 minute marks, it comes down to a 3-on-1 situation with Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, and Asuka versus Aaliyah. She's definitely going to have to put in some work if she wants to prove herself to Charlotte Flair.
Yeah.
But all three women would basically treat her like a ping pong ball. All three women hit their finishing maneuvers, and Becky Lynch makes her submit to the disarmer. So in kayfabe, Becky can claim that she is the captain. She was the true leader. She led the team to victory, taking Raw to 2-1 on the scoreboard. But then after the match, Becky gets laid out by both Bianca and Asuka, and the two of them have a stare down while Becky just clutches the Raw Women's Championship for dear life on the mat to end the segment.
Interesting. I like it.
And again, I apologize for being all over the place in this episode. We had all our notes planned, we're ready to go, and those releases, I think, they've just thrown us off completely. But match number 5 for Mrs. Crossfire is...
Okay, match number 5 for me is a men's championship title match, and it's a winner takes all. So we've got 2 titles on the line for this match.
Another 2-belt situation
here.
here.
Another 2-belt situation right here. We've got Big E with the World Heavyweight Championship.
WWE World Tag Team Championship, yeah.
No,
if I wasn't
Tag Team Championship, yo.
Oh, sorry. I meant to say World Heavyweight, but because I started doing the New Day thing. WWE Champion Big E versus
the Universal Champion, the Tribal Chief himself, Roman Reigns.
Acknowledge him.
So, both titles are to be suspended from the roof. It starts off very slow. Big man versus big man. Power versus power. They're saving endurance for the longest TLC match in WWE history. 45 minutes of brutality. So this is from bell to bell. So that's not including entrances.
So it'd be like close to an hour including entrances because Roman's entrance goes for like fucking 10 minutes these days.
Pretty much.
I dig that though. I'd watch that.
Yeah. But the only stipulation is for this match that Paul Heyman is banned from ringside.
I say, good sir, I am the special counsel and this is not allowed.
Well, it is, buddy. Flick off. So, at just 5 minutes in, Roman grabs a ladder from the outside and slides it in the ring, but turns around and is met with a chair to the back by Big E. As Roman is surprised by the chair shot, Big E sets Roman up for a belly-to-belly. And what happens is, so he hits that belly-to-belly, but Reigns shocks him by landing on his feet, and this stuns Big E.
A little bit of athleticism there by Roman Reigns.
Yeah. And then it's followed by a Superman punch to the face to Big E from Reigns.
Nice.
So now the pace is starting to increase, coming up to the 20-minute mark, but is interrupted by the Usos.
Oh, Paul Heyman might have been banned, but the Usos weren't.
Yeah.
Somebody made a boo-boo.
Yeah.
Somebody didn't review that stipulation properly.
I don't know. Heyman's a bit of a swifty one, but I don't know. Should have probably banned the Usos, I think. But here we are.
Right, so Heyman's banned, and now 20 minutes in, the Usos are rearing their heads.
Yes. So as this is a TLC match, reminded it's a no DQ
This is no
match.
disqualification, no count out, back on. You must climb the 15-foot high steel ladder back out.
So anything goes. The Usos covering the outside, surrounding Big E. The Usos each have a chair in hand. Big E isolates Reigns into the corner, then hits Reigns with a running turnbuckle thrust. Then Big E puts Reigns into another belly-to-belly, succeeding this time. Big E starts setting up the ladder to attempt his way to the top, but the Usos slide into the ring, taking down the ladder. Big E hits the ropes and falls to the outside. The Usos start hitting Big E with the chairs that they had in their hands before they went and grabbed the ladder. So they've gone and picked up their chairs and they started hitting them.
Okay.
And then you see the New Day, Kofi and King Woods running out to the aid of Big E. As Big E's getting up, he is charged at by Roman attempting a spear from the outside, but misses and ends up hitting the LED boarding on the side of the ring.
Okay.
And then we've got, so at the 35-minute mark, Big E is close to grasping the titles when he comes crashing down again with his back first onto another ladder this time.
Ooh, flesh meets steel.
Yeah.
Steel always wins.
Yeah. And this is a shock when he sees that King Woods is the one that knocked the ladder.
Wait, what? You said... I just kind of zoned out. King Woods pushed Big E off the ladder?
Yeah.
No!
So we've got a heel turn, my
Nah,
guys.
that's right. Hail,
Yeah.
King Woods. Hail,
Yeah.
King Woods.
So Big E, as he's grasping there in pain, is shocked that he sees that King Woods is the one that knocked him down off the ladder. Woods completing the ultimate betrayal to Big E, confessing that he wants to get in the Tribal Chief's good graces to come for the titles, the Universal title, to become the Ultimate King. Mm-hmm. And he's hoping if he gets in Roman's good graces, he'll win both titles, and then Woods can try and see if he can come for both.
So if Woods as the king becomes the Universal Champion, that would make him the king of the universe, therefore making him the master of the universe.
Yeah.
He's actually pulling hard in real life to be in the new Masters of the Universe reboot.
Interesting. But
There's a little tidbit and useless information there, but...
Yeah, Woods is explaining that this is Survival Series, and he's the king of SmackDown. Kofi looking on in disbelief as to what just happened. A distracted Big E on the outside fighting with Woods. Kofi is trying to save the friendship. As distracted, the Usos set up 2 tables. Jimmy assisting King Woods in helping him put Big E through a table. Roman spears Kofi, then runs into the ring to set up the ladder. While this is happening, Jay Uso puts a injured Kofi through the other table. Roman makes his way up to the top, taking both titles down, becoming the new World Heavyweight Champion and retaining the Universal Championship as well. As Paul Heyman can now come out because the match is over. He's come out he's come out congratulating Roman. A familiar face is seen running down the runway. It is Brock motherfucking Lesnar.
Well, here comes the pain.
He jumps in the ring to confront Roman. Roman comes at Brock with a spear, but Roman didn't see that Brock had been passed a chair by Heyman. Dun dun dun!
Oh, all the swerves and double turns. What in the Vince Russo is this?
And double turns.
Just wait till you get to mine.
It's Mark-A-Palooza, damn it, I can mark out if I want to.
Oh, fuck.
And then, so Brock hits Roman with the chair, then gives Roman an F5, and then just turns around and walks out like nothing's happened. And then, so this sets up now storylines for Big E still versus Roman to try and get his title back. Kofi versus Woods because he's pissed off that Woods betrayed their brother Big E. And Woods versus Roman because Woods is coming for one of Roman's
Woods
titles.
helped him win, so now Reigns has to hold his end of the bargain.
Hold his end of the bargain. But then we've got Roman versus Brock. And then we've got, Heyman fuckery in there too while we're at it.
Jesus Christ. So, 45 minute TLC match. Winner take all, WWE Championship, Universal Championship. Woods turns on Big E. Heyman turns on Roman. Roman has both the championships, though, and lots of possibilities.
Yeah.
And we're up to match 5, Ray. Yeah, I've lost what number we're up to.
Yeah, number 5.
During all of that fuckery. Okay, match number 5.
It was a lot.
For me, my 5th match isn't going to compare to that. Thank fuck it's not the main event. Jesus Christ. It's the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. We had another open challenge here of sorts, similar to what you have done there. Obviously, the Women's Tag Team Championships can be defended against both brands, but since the current champions Nikki ASH and Rhea Ripley, aka Super Brutality, are technically Raw superstars, they have an open challenge to any 2 women from the SmackDown roster, and that challenge is answered by the team of Shotzi Blackheart and Toni Storm, just like you had earlier.
You've been reading my notes, you sneaky little bish.
Well, this is a fast-paced, back-and-forth match. Toni Storm would hit the Storm Zero on Rhea Ripley, but Shotzi tagged herself in, given her new heel persona, and would go to the top rope to tease her top rope senton because she wanted the glory. So Shotzi and Toni would argue with each other before Nikki ASH takes out Toni Storm with a cross body on the outside, and this allows Rhea Ripley to snatch Shotzi off the top rope and hit the Riptide for the victory, thus retaining the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships for herself and Nikki, also setting up a feud on SmackDown between Shotzi and Toni. This takes the Raw scoreboard to a whopping 3-1.
Oh yeah, I haven't been covering who's been winning in my
That's
matches,
fine.
But yeah.
Match number 6 for Mrs Crossfire.
Okay, so match number 6 for me is my main event.
We're doing a lot better on time than I thought we were, by the way. Even though we're all over the place on this episode. The most planning we've put into an episode so far, and we're still all flustered.
Yeah, it's the notes for me, I think, because the way I've written it and stuff, it's a bit all over the place, because my thoughts were just everywhere, and I just wanted to go super into detail. I'm like, no, I need to hone it back in, and it's just crazy. So match number 6 for me is my main event. This match is the Men's Survivor Series elimination match. So we've got on Team Raw is The Rock as the captain, as mentioned before. He won earlier in the night a singles match against Edge. But because of the fuckery, they've made Edge a co-captain with The Rock.
Interesting.
So we've got The Rock, Edge, Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, and Swerve Scott.
Also just released.
So Swerve was actually drafted from SmackDown to Raw because he was causing a lot of fuckery and whatnot in the SmackDown locker room. So Adam Pearce was like, you know what, Sonya, you need to, get used to, all this fuckery. I'm going to give you Swerve and I want The Miz. And they've swapped.
So I've had a little trade here between Isaiah Swerve, Scott and The Miz. Okay.
Yeah, because he's like, I'm sick of this dude. You can deal with him. You're a new GM. Learn the ropes, honey. Kind of thing. So Swerve Scott, as he was drafted earlier in the night for causing a commotion all around the SmackDown locker room, as I've just mentioned, over the last few weeks, Adam Pearce came to the conclusion that the switch was necessary. So yeah, that's what happened there. The winner of this match wins the inaugural. Sorry, I'm a bit tired. I've been working all day. Pat Patterson Trophy. So,
okay, nice.
So this is a nice little paying homage to Pat Patterson because also the winner of this match also again wins the top 30 spot of the Royal Rumble.
Just like the women's. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so I wanted to incorporate a trophy somehow, and that's when you mentioned about Woods mentioned something similar, and I was like, this is
Yeah, he
cool.
sent out a tweet basically saying along the lines of the winning team should have a fatal 5-way match, and like it'll be elimination in its own right to determine, 26 through to 30 or 25 through 30, whatever it is, and then the losers should go 1 through 5.
Yeah, so I was kind of getting a bit of the vibes from that, and was like, that helps me. That's going to help me write this match. And I was like, that's a really good idea.
And then you just added kind of like the little homage to Pat there because it had Rumble.
Yeah, attached to it. Yeah, and this is why earlier I started my pre-show with that kind of mini Rumble to lead up to this.
No, that makes sense. I dig that.
Yeah. So a lot of people will come and like, why would you have a Rumble for like a 24/7 title? Like, what?
I mean,
that's why.
I just thought it sounded like fun, but yeah, now it makes even more sense.
Yeah, so it kind of just meshes in together. Yeah, so, and then, going back onto this one, the team for SmackDown is The Miz, who's the captain of Team SmackDown, Sami Zayn, Ricochet, Jey Uso, and Jimmy Uso.
Okay.
So
Uso's pulling lots of action tonight.
Yeah, they're all about. So this match is a 20-minute match. At the first 5 minutes, we have our first elimination with Team Raw's Swerve Scott eliminating Team SmackDown's Ricochet by hitting him with a JML driver. As Ricochet was distracted and didn't see the blind tag between Seth and Swerve Scott, as Seth was talking smack, as usual.
Seth Rollins doesn't talk smack. What are you talking about?
He's a chicken shit heel. I don't care what you say.
It.
And then we've got, at 10 minutes in, Swerve tries to eliminate Sami Zayn, but Sami swings Swerve into a backslide, but then Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander of the Hurt Business interfere to stop the pin. And now, see, this bit of backstory here, I should have mentioned it beforehand. Swerve is now going and joined the Hurt Business to cause some more shit, but on Raw instead of SmackDown. So
fuck yes.
He has joined the Hurt Business.
Yes.
So WWE, if you're listening, this is what you could have done, you dumb fucks, instead of releasing him. Anyway. Okay, I'm a Mark, whatever. So yeah, so the Hurt Business interfere to stop the pin. Swerve is eliminated by disqualification due to his affiliation with the Hurt Business because of their interference. So that's what the refs decided, because it's like, hey...
That seems fair. Outside interference, they went in the match.
And they've got affiliation with Swerve, so we obviously know there's some fuckery going on here. You're gone. You're basic.
You're basic. Take it sleazy.
That still hurts.
Such a good show, and it just ended like that. Take it sleazy. Okay, but Swerve's eliminated via disqualification as per his new alliance with the Hurt Business.
Yes. And then we've got, okay, so now we're 12 minutes in. Edge eliminates Jey Uso.
Okay, yep.
By a spear, as he doesn't trust The Rock to deliver and eliminate his own family.
Interesting.
So then, Randy Orton, not long after, is eliminated by Jimmy Uso.
Ooh, okay.
By a devastating super kick to the jaw, getting the pin in revenge to Edge, which, Randy's his time friend. They had that feud a little while
rival.
back, but,
rated RKO versus the Usos action happening here.
Yeah, bit of that. And then,
Fuck RK, bro. Rated RKO all day.
Yeah. And then, so then, he's a longtime friend of Edge, rival, whatnot.
Yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
They're on the same team here. That's all that matters.
Yeah. So he got eliminated, by Jimmy. There's a bit of fuckery there, and it's like, fuck you, Edge, you eliminated my brother. Well, fuck you all, eliminate Randy then. And then we've gone on a bit further now, and we've got Sami Zayn of Team SmackDown was eliminated by The Rock. The Rock also followed that elimination by also steamrolling through The Miz. So The Miz has also been eliminated.
Poor Miz.
The Miz didn't get much action in here tonight. He just didn't because there was too much fuckery happening. So he just got thrown in there for a body pretty much, which is really sad. But I guess that's what happens when John Morrison's gone,
Jesus Christ almighty.
This shit's hurting me, I tell you what.
This is all over the place.
But leaving only Jimmy Uso, the only contender, remaining of Team SmackDown, and the remaining members on Team Raw are as follows. The captain, The Rock, the co-captain, Edge, and Seth Rollins. So we've got a 3-on-1 action here.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The Rock tags in Seth, who gets put in, the Tequila Sunrise submission by Jimmy. So it seems a little bit dodgy here. He's like, yeah, I'm going to tag you in, brother.
Okay.
And then gets put in the Tequila Sunrise submission. A tired Seth submits, resulting in him being eliminated from the match.
Okay, so he taps out or passes out, one of the two.
Yeah.
And now we've got 2-on-1 instead of 3-on-1.
Yeah. And so now...
Shenanigans. Edge and The Rock from earlier tonight.
So now Edge steps in to try and set up a spear on Jimmy Uso, but misses and hits the ring post. The same ring post where The Rock is standing. The same ring post where The Rock is standing, because, so Edge steps in after Seth gets eliminated. Should have just clarified that.
That's fine. He goes for a spear.
Yeah.
Hits the ring post.
And then The Rock is there, standing there in that same corner that he hits. Mm-hmm. So the ref is actually distracted because the tribal chief Roman Reigns is marching his way down the runway, accompanied by eliminated Jey Uso.
Okay. And he's in a bad mood after what happened with him and Brock earlier on.
Yeah, he's in a bad mood.
He's hurting, but he's mad.
Yeah, he's hurting, but he's come out purely as just a distraction. So, the ref is yelling for, sorry, I'll go again there. Making his way down the runway, accompanied by Jey Uso. Yes, the ref is yelling for them to get backstage. Jimmy slides a chair while this is all going on. Jimmy slides a chair to The Rock, who is now brawling with Edge in the middle of the ring. The Rock hits Edge with a chair, and Jimmy slides back into the ring with another chair, then hits Edge with a concerto.
Giving Edge a little turn about third place
yeah,
sort of thing.
That's his own move.
A nice little callback to the Roman Edge feud at the start of the year as well.
Yeah, it's a little callback. A little bit of psychology here. Which is injuring Edge's neck.
Oofed.
So The Rock yells, "Give me the chair," which catches the ref's attention because the idiot's not thinking. He's just like, "Yeah, we've got this." And he's yelled it, and the ref's actually heard, so he's turned around and actually caught The Rock with the chair.
And he sees the other one on the floor, I'm assuming?
Yeah, and the other one's still under Edge because Edge hasn't moved because his neck's injured. He can't move. So they're going to have to go get a stretcher and shit, So he can't move. The other chair's still there, so it looks like he's actually been beaten up by The Rock. So the ref disqualifies The Rock, leaving only Jimmy of SmackDown and co-captain of Raw, Edge, remaining.
Some Eddie Guerrero type antics there.
Yeah. So now, why this is all happening here, Jimmy is on the sidelines. You don't see him, but he's climbing up to the top rope, and he hits Edge with a Superfly Splash, then pinning Edge and making Jimmy the sole survivor and winner of the Pat Patterson Trophy and number 30 entrant of the Royal Rumble.
So The Rock is still Team SmackDown after all.
Yeah.
Edge was right, damn it.
Edge was right. No one listened to the poor bugger.
And because your Big E versus Roman match went so long, plus you had all the fuckery, you didn't do a 7th match.
No, I just did a pre-show and then just did 6 matches because I didn't want it to go for too long because the other match went for longer than expected.
That's fine. But match 6 for me, I had I had 2 men's Survivor Series matches. Obviously, I had one at the start, but I had the main men's Survivor Series match, Raw versus SmackDown. Team Raw, my co-captains are AJ Styles and Seth Rollins, teaming with Finn Balor, Bobby Lashley, and Apollo Crews. Versus Team SmackDown, the co-captains are Drew McIntyre and Jeff Hardy. Ricochet, Mustafa Ali, and Jinder Mahal accompany those two. WWE officials Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce announced backstage due to the Usos possibly skewing the outcome of the first Survivor Series match early in the night that they are banned from ringside, and anyone that tries to come down after being eliminated will be suspended as well.
Okay.
That means that on the Raw side, Omos for AJ Styles, Commander Aziz for Apollo Crews, and MVP for Bobby Lashley, assuming that he is also healed from injury in this fantasy world. And then on the SmackDown side, Shanky for Jinder Mahal. All 4 of those guys are banned from ringside. The match goes for about 20-25 minutes, and the big point of the match comes down to 2 versus 2, with one of the co-captains, AJ Styles, and then Finn Balor for Raw, and then both co-captains, Drew McIntyre and Jeff Hardy for SmackDown. Moments before, Finn Balor and AJ Styles had actually eliminated Ricochet with the Magic Killer, shades of the Good Brothers, and then they do the Too Sweet hand gesture, which make the fans lose their mind. But with all of this distraction going on, AJ Styles is eliminated by Jeff Hardy with a roll-up, a jackknife cover, what do you want? Because AJ would go for a Styles clash, but being that he was only half paying attention because of the whole Too Sweet shenanigans, Jeff Hardy pulled a Swiftie, making it 2 versus 1 with Drew and Jeff versus Finn. Jeff and Finn go back and forth. Jeff goes for a Swanton Bomb on Finn Balor. Finn Balor gets the knees up in an expertly timed counter. Finn Balor would attempt the 1916 lifting DDT, brainbuster, whatever you want to call it, on Jeff Hardy, but Hardy would counter that into the Twist of Fate for a very close near fall. He would attempt a Swanton Bomb again, but this time Finn Balor just moves completely out of the way, so Hardy crashes and burns. Finn Balor eliminates Jeff Hardy after hitting the coup de grace, of course the patented double stomp with the top rope, leaving Drew McIntyre and Finn. Drew would come in, go for a Claymore, but Finn Balor counters that with a Sling Blade. Finn would attempt a coup de grace once again, this time on Drew, but this time it was also Drew's turn to roll out of the way, much like Balor had done moments before with Hardy. But Finn lands on his feet, rolls through, however he turns right around into a Claymore, the same move that Drew had used to eliminate Apollo Crews earlier in the match.
Okay. Yep.
Drew McIntyre, though, was also pretty beat up in his own right, as before Seth Rollins was eliminated, Drew took a curb stomp from Seth on the floor. So Drew wasn't able to capitalize on the Claymore, so both Finn and Drew have to use the ropes on opposite side of the rings to pull himself up, but Drew manages to get a head start and hits a second Claymore for the win, being the sole survivor and carrying SmackDown to victory. SmackDown making a slight comeback with the scoreboard now reading 3-2. And then I'll try and get through my main event as quick as possible, because as I said, you only did 6 because of how long your TLC match and stuff took.
Yeah.
But I've done a lot of Vince Russo stuff here, but I've got champion versus champion. There's no titles on the line, but it's no holds barred. We've got Big E versus Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman, of course, Big E WWE champion. Roman Reigns, Universal champion. The match from bell to bell is about 30-35 minutes, with both guys just brawling all around the ring into the crowd. As I said, there's a lot of fuckery in this one. I think Vince Russo must have just entered my body as I was writing this. About 12-13 minutes in, Big E would have Roman Reigns reeling. He would attempt the big ending, but Roman Reigns would take out the eyes of Big E with a thumb break, whatever you want to call it. He just poked him in the eyes in some form or fashion, and he turns it into the guillotine. Big E starts to fade, but just as he's about to pass out, he counters it into a big belly-to-belly suplex, causing a double down for both men. After some back and forth with chairs, kendo sticks, trash cans, all the bells and whistles from your standard PG no DQ match, Roman Reigns would attempt to spear Big E through a table that had been set up in the corner, but Big E sidesteps, causing Reigns to just crash through the table. Big E hits the big ending, but Roman Reigns kicks out just before 3, leaving the fans on the edge of their seats. Big E quickly follows up, though, with his submission hold. Of course, he was famously using the stretch muffler leg lock, which he had a bit of success with in the year prior with 2020, so he's busting that out here to kind of combat the guillotine, which is Roman's submission. Roman gets to the ropes, but being no holds barred, even though the referee would still ask Big E to break in the matter of sportsmanship, he technically doesn't have to, and Big E just rips at Roman's legs until the Usos would stick their nose in someone else's business yet again.
Damn Usos.
Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville were so focused on banning them from the Survivor Series match that somehow they forgot that they were aligned with the Tribal Chief. I don't know how that slipped through the cracks, but the Usos just causing all kind of trouble here tonight. And this would prompt the New Day, Kofi and Woods, kind of what you did as well, to come save Big E and attack the Usos, and this time it was their turn to brawl through the crowd, so both the Usos and the New Day disappeared backstage, essentially. And about 20 minutes, this was all about 20 minutes into the match, and the crowd was still super hot for all the action that was taking place. Meanwhile, in the ring, with Big E, taken out by the attack from the Usos, Roman would hit a big spear, but Big E just manages to kick out after Roman wasn't able to make a cover because his knee was injured from the stretch muffler hold. Eventually, in the closing moments around 28-minute mark, Big E would counter out of an attempted top rope Samoan drop from Roman Reigns and hit a top rope / avalanche big ending. But just as the referee was about to count to 3, Paul Heyman would pull the referee out of the ring and take the referee out with the ugliest spear you've ever seen, adding a little bit of comedy in it, just to get over how clumsy Paul is while trying to pay homage to his tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Paul would take off his suit jacket to reveal a referee shirt of his own. And with Big E pissed off and distracted and about to take out Heyman, Roman Reigns would low blow Big E and then pull himself to his feet to hit a second spear, but Big E would still somehow kick out of that. Reigns yelling at Heyman for not counting fast enough, counting more tension between the two of them there, or causing more tension between the two of them there. The fans are just going nuts at this point because, Big E's kicked out of 2 spears. Brock Lesnar's music plays, but he doesn't appear. But it's enough to throw Heyman and Reigns off. Reigns would attempt a 3rd spear, but Big E hits another belly-to-belly suplex because, Reigns was a little bit rattled. He wasn't paying full attention.
Yeah, not full attention. Yep.
Big E picks up Paul Heyman and hits him with the big ending to a big pop from the crowd. But just as Big E hoists Roman up for a 3rd big ending, the Usos reappear and they seem to have disposed of the New Day somewhere backstage, and they hit Big E with a double super kick. Obviously, with Roman on Big E's shoulders, Big E isn't able to defend himself, so he eats 2 boots from the Usos straight to the jaw, and then Reigns hits what is now the 3rd spear of the match. The Usos throw the original referee back into the ring, and he comes to just in time for Roman to lock in the guillotine choke, and Big E has no choice but to eventually tap out. So your winner, via submission, the Universal Champion Roman Reigns, and this is where the fuckery picks up even more. Because we got the post-match. The Usos help Roman and Paul Heyman to their feet. Roman asks to be presented with a mic, and he says that all week, all he's heard about is #Rock25, but after that dominating victory, even Dwayne has no choice but to acknowledge him, and right on cue, the iconic "If You Smell" rings out through the arena. The Rock's music hits, and the place comes unglued because nobody expected him to be there. He's meant to be in Australia filming a movie, but he's here, he's in Survivor Series, and he makes a beeline to the ring, takes out Paul Heyman with a big right hand, hits a rock bottom on one Uso, hits the spinebuster people's elbow combo on the other, while Reigns makes his way back to the stage. Kind of, chicken shits out there a little bit. Rock takes the mic and says, "Roman, The Rock does in fact acknowledge you, but Roman, you need to acknowledge that one day, sooner than later, it may not be today, may not be tomorrow, it may not be next week, the week after that, or the week after that, but sooner than later, Roman, acknowledge that The Rock is going to whoop your candy-ass jabroni, and the show goes off with The Rock's music playing, and Roman and Rock have a stare down while Roman holds up the championship on the stage, while Paul Heyman and the Usos are kind of just crawling around at his feet after the beating from The Rock. This sets up a match between The Rock and Roman at WrestleMania 38 in Texas, which in this fantasy world ends up being The Rock's last match ever before going into the Hall of Fame the year after at WrestleMania 39 in Hollywood. And then The Rock would cut a proper promo to send the fans home happy in a dark segment after the show, which they'd later upload on YouTube and the network for like a hashtag Rock25 special. But yeah, there was a lot of fuckery. That concludes our Fantasy Survivor Series cards, respectively. Let us know what you guys thought. I personally am super proud of the effort that both myself and especially Mrs Crossfire put into her fantasy card. As I said, we're a little thrown off with like the releases because, like as I said, we just kind of wanted to go in, boom, 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 but just it pissed us off and probably made us more flustered than it should have. But we're marks, like we're gonna be sad when our guys go. But real quick before we end this, Survivor Series 2021 IRL rapid fire predictions. Big E versus Roman.
Big E versus Roman. I'd say Big E.
Well, I said Roman. Becky versus Charlotte.
Becky, because she's my girl.
I said Becky as well. So the men's Survivor Series match, and there was a lot of fuckery with both Survivor Series teams, being men's and women's, going into this. People have been switched out, and that's fine. I like when they do that, but I feel like they should have done this weeks ago, so that at least you could establish somewhat of a solid build going into it. But as we record this on Friday, we have Team Raw, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Austin Theory, and Bobby Lashley versus Team SmackDown, Drew McIntyre, Jeff Hardy, Ricochet, and Happy Corbin. The fifth member is to be determined after Sami Zayn was removed on last week's SmackDown. I personally feel like Sami Zayn's going to find a way to weasel himself back into the team somehow, on SmackDown tomorrow upon recording this. Or if he's not in the match, he'll find a way to come out and sabotage Jeff Hardy and be the reason that Jeff Hardy's eliminated, since Jeff Hardy was the one that took him out of the match. But Team Raw versus Team SmackDown for the men. Who do you think?
I think Raw.
Yeah, I also said Raw.
Yeah.
And for the Women's Survivor Series teams, we've got Team Raw, Bianca, Rhea Ripley, Carmella, Zelina, and Liv versus Sasha Banks, Shotzi, Shayna Baszler, Natalya, and Toni Storm.
It's hard because I don't know if it's been working out, but I'd say Raw again.
I said Raw as well. Damian Priest versus Shinsuke Nakamura?
Damian Priest.
I went Nakamura.
Okay, interesting.
RK Bro versus the Usos.
Okay, bro.
I also went RK Bro. So based off those quick predictions, I had Raw winning at an overall 4-2. I didn't even factor in the scoreboard when doing these predictions, which is fine. But you said Roman, yeah? You said Big E. So you said Big E, Becky, Team Raw. Did you go all Raw?
I think I did. That's why I was like, I think I went all Raw. I was just like, I don't know. It's because mostly like everyone that I was going for.
Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, rapid fire predictions. Mrs Crossfire has a clean sweep, 6-0, and to be honest, on paper I can see that, but I'm just kind of like, I really want. Like, I'm a huge fan of Damian Priest specifically, but Nakamura hasn't done shit with the title, so having him get a win over Priest, it was more of a want than I think, but I don't know. I feel like with Boogs on the outside and Priest doing this new character where he has two personalities.
Because it's kind of like I could see it going either way. It's like I can see them trying to build up Damian Priest, but who knows? Maybe he'll get released next week. Who knows?
But yeah, that was our first Mark-A-Palooza episode. I hope you guys liked it because I really, really want to do more. As I said, I've got at least 2 in the plans, and obviously I want to do more than that. The song of the week this week was I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor. Hey, hey. The match of the week was Steve Austin versus Bret Hart at Survivor Series 1996. Remember to check the link tree in the description box for all of my socials and merch. I actually just finally got a TikTok. I have 3 videos up there, so go check that out. I don't know how much content I'm going to put out in the future, but give me a follow nonetheless. I'm sure you'll be entertained, or at least I entertained myself by making them. I am the essential John L. Crossfire. With me today was my beautiful wife, Mrs Crossfire, and you, yes you, were just caught
In conversation.
I will survive.
Goodbye, everyone.